Hello. I need space to think about our future, Ashley said, packing her suitcase with designer clothes I'd bought her for our upcoming honeymoon. This Europe trip with my college friends. It's perfect timing. 3 weeks to clear my head before the wedding. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom, watching my fiancée methodically fold silk dresses and matching lingerie sets. Something felt off. After 5 years together and 8 months of wedding planning, she suddenly needed to think. The wedding is in 6 weeks, Ash. What exactly do you need to think about? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady despite the dread building in my stomach. She barely glanced up. Don't make this into something it's not, Jake. I just want one last adventure with my girlfriends before settling down. Monica and Brittany already booked everything. Monica. That name set off alarm bells. Ashley's wild child friend from college who'd already torpedoed 2 marriages. Her own and her ex-best friend's. The same Monica who'd been texting Ashley constantly for the past month. Always followed by Ashley quickly deleting the messages. Is Brad going? I asked pointedly. Brad was Monica's cousin who'd studied abroad in Barcelona. He'd been commenting on all of Ashley's Instagram posts lately, always with some inside joke about their college days that I wasn't part of. Ashley's hands froze for a split second over her suitcase. Of course not. It's just us girls, Monica, Brittany, and me. Stop being so paranoid. I knew she was lying. Call it intuition, call it experience from catching her in smaller lies over the past year, about late nights at work, about deleted text messages, about running into old flames at coffee shops. But I kept my mouth shut and nodded, already formulating a plan. You're right. I'm sorry, I said, forcing a smile. Have an amazing time. Just stay in touch. Okay? She finally looked up, relief flooding her face. Of course, babe. I'll FaceTime you every day. Another lie. The moment she left for the airport, I called my buddy Kevin who works at a cybersecurity firm. I'm not proud of what I did next, but thank God I did it. Within an hour, he had accessed Ashley's recently deleted texts with Monica. My hands shook as I read through 3 weeks of messages planning their girls' trip. Monica. Brad can't wait to see you in Barcelona. He still talks about that night in senior year, winky face. Ashley. OMG, stop. Jake would literally kill me if he knew Brad was coming. Delete this convo. Monica. Girl, what Jake doesn't know won't hurt him. 3 weeks of European adventure before you're tied down forever? You deserve this. Ashley. I know. I just need to figure out how to tell Jake I want a break to think without him getting suspicious. Getting cold feet about the whole marriage thing anyway, TBH. There were hundreds more messages, each one twisting the knife deeper. But it was the last exchange from this morning that made my blood run cold. Monica. Hotel rooms all booked. You and Brad have the suite with the ocean view, winky face. Ashley. Can't believe I'm really doing this. Pretty sure Jake bought the whole girls' trip story. 3 weeks of freedom before reality hits. I sat in our empty apartment, staring at the $50,000 wedding deposit checks I'd just written last week. The RSVPs from 200-plus guests on our kitchen counter. The honeymoon reservations to Bora Bora. Then I started making calls. First call, my bank. Turns out you can't just cancel $50,000 in checks without a damn good reason. For hours and a conference call with my lawyer later, we had a plan to prevent the money from being withdrawn. Thank God Ashley had insisted on waiting to add her name to my accounts until after the wedding. Second call, my brother Mike, who works for a major airline. Hey, remember when I helped you move across country last summer? Time to cash in that favor. Within an hour, he had access to Ashley's flight information. The girls' trip itinerary was actually 5 people. Ashley, Monica, Brittany, Brad, and some guy named Tyler. They were booked on connecting flights through London, Paris, Barcelona, and Rome. Couple seats all the way through. Third call, Hannah, Ashley's younger sister. We'd always been close. She'd actually warned me about Ashley's commitment issues when we first started dating. I'd brushed it off as sibling rivalry. Stupid me. Jake. There's something you should know, Hannah said quietly. This isn't the first time she's pulled this stunt. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? 3 years ago, before she met you, she was engaged to this guy Chris. Called it off 2 months before the wedding. Said she needed to find herself. Went to Thailand for a month with her ex, came back. Told everyone Chris had cheated on her. Hannah paused. He hadn't. But by then she'd already turned all their friends against him. The pieces started falling into place. The mysterious gap in Ashley's relationship history. The way she'd get defensive whenever anyone mentioned her time in Thailand. The ex she claimed was crazy and obsessive. There's more, Hannah continued. Last Christmas, when she told you she was at that work conference in Chicago, she was actually in Cabo, with Brad. I sat down hard, memories flooding back. The conference where her phone mysteriously didn't have international service. The suspicious tan she'd come back with. The sand I'd found in her suitcase that she'd claimed was from a team-building exercise on Lake Michigan. In December. Why didn't you tell me this before? I asked, trying to keep the anger out of my voice. She's my sister, Jake. I kept hoping she'd grown up, that you were different, that she really loved you. Hannah's voice cracked. I'm so sorry, but you need to know, she and Brad never really ended things from college. They've been on and off this whole time. Fourth call. My best friend Daniel, who happens to be a private investigator. I need every photo, video, and social media post from their Europe trip. Every hotel they check into, every restaurant, every club. And I need you to find this guy Chris. Fifth call. The wedding venue. This one was the hardest. I'm so sorry to hear that, sir, the event coordinator said after I explained the situation. Unfortunately, with only 6 weeks' notice, the cancellation fee is 75% of the total cost. What if I don't cancel? I asked. What if I just change some things? There was a pause. What kind of changes did you have in mind? I smiled for the first time in hours. How's your projector system? I'd like to prepare a very special wedding video. The next few days were a blur of revelations, each worse than the last. Daniel tracked down Chris. Turned out he lived just 2 hours away. Over beers, he told me everything. I thought I was crazy, Chris said, showing me photos of him and Ashley from 4 years ago. She gaslit me so hard about that Thailand trip. Had all our friends convinced I was controlling and paranoid. Even my own sister stopped talking to me. His story matched Hannah's, but with gut-wrenching details. Ashley had taken their wedding funds, $30,000 from Chris's inheritance, for her Thailand, finding herself trip. She'd maxed out their joint credit cards in luxury resorts with her ex. Then she'd come back, spun a story about catching Chris cheating, and played the victim while he was left with the debt. Look at this. Chris pulled up an Instagram account. Her ex from Thailand still posts about their amazing month together every anniversary. The photos made me sick. Ashley in the same poses, same locations, same lovesick captions she'd used with me. It was like looking at a template she followed with every guy. Meanwhile, Ashley's Europe photos started rolling in. Daniel's PI network was thorough, not just the sanitized Instagram versions, but the real ones. Ashley and Brad practically glued together in Paris. Monica's candid shots of them kissing by the Trevi fountain. Late-night club photos that Ashley was definitely not posting to her public story. The worst part? She was still keeping up the charade with me. Daily FaceTime calls from girls' lunches, carefully angled to hide Brad. Texts about how much she missed me, sent right after hotel room photos with Brad that Daniel's team intercepted. But it was Kevin who found the smoking gun. Hidden in Ashley's cloud backup was a folder titled Wedding Contingency. Inside were screenshots of conversations with Monica planning this exact scenario from 6 months ago. Monica. So if you get cold feet, we'll do the Europe trip backup plan? Ashley. Already scouting venues LOL. Jake so trusting he'll never catch on. His family has major money. Thinking I'll wait till after the wedding for maximum payout, winky face. Monica. OMG, you're evil. But seriously, get that prenup changed first. Ashley. Already working on it. Playing the don't you trust me card. He's gonna drop the infidelity clause next week. She'd been right about that last part. I had dropped the infidelity clause, believing her tears about how it meant I didn't trust her. The prenup meeting where she'd sobbed about wanting a marriage built on trust. Not suspicion? All an act. But the folder contained something else, a diary. Ashley had been documenting her conquests since college. Brad was a regular feature, but there were others. Many others. She had a system: find a wealthy guy, play the perfect girlfriend, push for marriage, then either cash out with a cheating story or wait until after the wedding for a bigger settlement. I was just the latest mark. The diary entries about me were clinical, detached. How she'd studied my family's business holdings before our chance meeting. How she'd cultivated the perfect personality to match my interests. 5 years of calculated manipulation, all leading to what she hoped would be her biggest payday yet. Then came the message from Daniel. Found something at the Paris hotel. You need to see this now. He sent a video clip from the hotel's security camera. Ashley, drunk at the bar, waving her engagement ring, loudly telling Brad and their friends, 6 more weeks, baby, then half of everything is mine, and we can finally stop hiding. I looked at my phone. Ashley had just texted, missing you so much, babe. Can't wait to be your wife. I smiled and texted back, miss you too. Everything's perfect here. Just finalized the last wedding details today. Perfect indeed. But not in the way she thought. While Ashley enjoyed her European self-discovery tour, I got busy. First order of business. Protecting my assets. My lawyer worked overtime restructuring everything. Company shares, property deeds, investment accounts, all locked down tighter than a bank vault. Let her try to claim half after the prenup violation we documented. But the real work, that was personal. Remember that wedding video I mentioned? I hired a professional editor. We were compiling quite the presentation. Ashley's romantic Paris moments with Brad spliced with her tearful FaceTime calls to me. Her girls-only beach photos next to the full versions showing Brad's hands all over her. Screenshots of her wedding contingency folder. Choice excerpts from her conquest diary. Then there were the testimonials. Chris agreed to record his story. Hannah provided years of text showing Ashley's manipulation. 3 other guys came forward after Chris spread the word. All with similar stories, all with evidence. Even Ashley's college roommate sent footage of Ashley bragging about her foolproof gold digger strategy at a drunken reunion last year. The venue coordinator was surprisingly into the plan. Honey, I've seen some bridezillas in my day, but this, she whistled low. We'll make sure every screen in the place shows your video. Even ordered extra speakers. But the masterstroke came from an unexpected source. Ashley's mother. She showed up at my office unannounced, carrying a USB drive. Found this when I was cleaning Ashley's old room, she said, eyes hard. It's footage from her cousin's wedding 3 years ago. She got drunk. Didn't know she was being recorded. Goes into detail about her methodology. How she picks her targets. How she plans her exits. Even jokes about the Thailand scam. She paused. I love my daughter, but this needs to stop. The footage was damning. Ashley and Monica, champagne drunk, gleefully comparing notes on their various scams. Ashley demonstrating how she could cry on command while Monica filmed it like a tutorial. Both of them scrolling through social media, rating potential wealthy targets. I watched her mother's hands shake as she signed the venue's video release form. Just make it count, she whispered. Everything was set. But Ashley wasn't done giving me ammunition. Daniel's European surveillance operation kept delivering gold. The private Instagram story she thought only her close friends could see, full of jokes about her last hurrah before settling for boring banker boy. Videos of her and Brad planning their real future together once she got her divorce settlement. Even a drunk live stream where she laughed about how she trained me to fetch like a good boy by weaponizing her tears. Each night she called me. Each night I played the devoted fiancé. The centerpieces look amazing, babe, I told her, staring at the boxed-up decorations in our garage. They'd never see the reception hall. I can't wait to marry you, she cooed. while I added her latest incriminating photos to the video compilation. Everything's on track, I assured her, as I systematically dismantled every plan she'd made. The RSVPs kept coming. I'd sent a private message to our closest friends and family explaining the situation. They were all in. The rest? They'd find out soon enough. 3 days before her return flight, Ashley called with an odd request. "Honey, would you mind picking up my dry cleaning? My wedding dress should be ready." I smiled into the phone. "Of course, sweetheart. Anything else?" "No, that's perfect. You're the best. Love you." I hung up and looked at her wedding dress, still hanging in our closet. She'd forgotten she'd never taken it to the cleaners. Another lie so natural she didn't even think about it. But that was fine. That dress would play a starring role in my plans. Ashley returned from Europe tanned, relaxed, and completely oblivious. She deleted all compromising photos, scrubbed her social media, and somehow convinced herself she'd gotten away with everything. Brad had flown back separately to avoid suspicion. The perfect crime. "I missed you so much," she gushed, kissing me in the airport. The trip really cleared my head. "I'm absolutely certain about us now." "I bet you are," I thought, hugging her back. The flash drive in my pocket felt like it was burning a hole through my clothes. The next few weeks were a masterclass in acting on both our parts. She played the excited bride, throwing herself into last-minute wedding details. I played the unsuspecting groom, telling her everything looked perfect. The morning of the wedding arrived sunny and clear. Ashley and her bridesmaids took over the venue's bridal suite at dawn. Monica kept posting updates to their private group chat, which Kevin's software helpfully forwarded to me. "Monica, almost time. Can't believe you pulled it off." Ashley, "I know. Jake's family is loaded. The prenup's locked in. 2 years max and I'm set for life." Monica, "What about Brad?" Ashley, "Meeting me at the airport tomorrow. Planned a little business trip. For right after the honeymoon, winky face. Right on schedule, the guests arrived. 200 people filed into their seats, programs in hand. Ashley's family on one side, mine on the other. Brad slipped in at the last minute, sitting near the back. Everyone who needed to know was prepared. Everyone who didn't was about to find out. The wedding coordinator gave me the signal. Everything was in place. I nodded, and the lights dimmed. "Ladies and gentlemen," the coordinator's voice rang out. "Before the ceremony begins, the groom has prepared a special video celebrating their journey together." The screens lit up. Ashley's face appeared not in her wedding photos, but in the Paris hotel bar, waving her ring around. "6 more weeks, baby. Then half of everything is mine." The footage cut to her Thailand adventure with her ex, then to her tearful manipulation of Chris, then to her drunken gold digger tutorial with Monica. Her mother's USB footage played next, Ashley explaining exactly how she targeted wealthy men, complete with demonstrations of her fake crying techniques. The room was dead silent except for gasps and murmurs. Then came the Europe trip footage, every kiss with Brad, every scheming conversation, every mocking joke about her boring banker boy fiancé. Finally, her diary entries appeared on screen, highlighted and enlarged. Target: Jake, last name, estimated net worth, $15 million plus. Strategy: traditional values type, responds well to damsel in distress act. Anticipate 2 to 3 year marriage, target settlement, $7 million minimum. The lights came up. I walked to the center of the aisle, microphone in hand, facing the bridal suite door. "Ashley, honey?" I called out. "Remember how you asked me to pick up your wedding dress from the cleaners? Funny thing, this dress never left our closet. Just another lie, right? Like the last 5 years of my life." The bridal suite door burst open. Ashley stood there in her wedding dress, mascara running, face contorted with rage and panic. "You don't understand," she started. But I cut her off. "Oh, I understand perfectly. I understand that you and Brad have been laughing behind my back since college. I understand that this wedding was just another con in your long line of scams. I understand that you were planning to take me for everything I'm worth. I turned to the crowd. The ceremony is cancelled, but please stay for the reception. Open bar on me. I've got an extra $50,000 to spend since I'm not getting married today. Ashley rushed forward. Jake, please, I can explain. Explain what? The Thailand scam with Chris? The Cabo trip with Brad during your fake work conference? The secret folder planning this whole con? The diary detailing how you targeted me? I smiled. By the way, your math was off. My net worth isn't $15 million. It's quite a bit more. Which is why I could afford to hire the best investigators to document every second of your European girls' trip. Brad stood up, trying to slink toward the exit. Sit down, Brad. I called out. You're in the next part of the video. 2 security guards blocked the doors. The screens lit up again, showing Brad's greatest hits, including his drunk confession to the hotel bartender about being Ashley's long-term side piece, helping her scam rich guys. The police might be interested in that part where you two discuss how to commit wire fraud, I added. Plus the credit card scam you pulled on Chris. Speaking of Chris. Chris stood up in the front row. Hey, Ash, remember me? The guy you left with $30,000 in debt? Fraud charges are fun, aren't they? Ashley's face went from red to white. You can't prove anything. Really? Check your phone. She pulled out her iPhone, suddenly pale. Every deleted message, photo, and video had been restored and backed up to her cloud, which was now displaying on every screen in the venue. I took the liberty of sending copies to the SEC, by the way, I added. They're very interested in that insider trading you and Brad discussed in Barcelona. Apparently, your foolproof strategy isn't so foolproof. The venue erupted in chaos. Ashley's father had to be restrained from going after Brad. Monica was already sprinting for the exit, only to be stopped by security. Ashley's mother sat quietly, tears rolling down her face. I raised my glass to the crowd. Thank you all for coming to what was supposed to be my wedding. Instead, you've witnessed the end of a long con by a professional gold digger and her accomplices. Drinks are in the next room. Ashley, Brad, the police would like a word about those fraud charges. Everyone else, enjoy the open bar. As security escorted a screaming Ashley and a protesting Brad out, I caught Chris's eye and nodded. He grinned back, raising his champagne glass. Sometimes revenge is a dish best served in front of 200 wedding guests. Thank you for listening the story to the end. Write your thoughts about it in the comments and do not forget to subscribe. See you in the next videos. Bye.